Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. We are here in South Carolina for the first drive of this all new redesign SUV. What is it? This is a 2024 GMC Acadia. This one is the off-road spec known as the AT4. But before we get into this off-roading 3-row redesigned SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. So Acadia, where does that fall in the lineup? That basically is going to slot number 2 from the top, from big to small. So you got the Yukon, Acadia, Terrain. That is the lineup of GMC's SUVs. Now, of course, GMC, General Motors Truck Company, still doing the trucks, but they're doing a lot of great work with redesigns, updates, and technology in their SUVs as well. Now, we already brought you the top luxury trim, the Denali. And if you didn't see that review, I'll leave it at the end of this one. But what I want to find out is, if you're looking for the best midsize crossover SUV that has some off-road cred, do you go with the Acadia or do you go with the Honda Pilot Trailsport? Let's go ahead. Let's dive into our Acadia AT4 and find out which is the better one. Right off the bat, you're going to notice a new look to the Acadia, and I'm really liking how it ties in nicely with the larger Yukon. Now, when you go AT4, there's going to be some specific touches, but before we focus on that, let's just focus on the lighting. You'll notice we have all updated lighting, of course, full LED. I really like the way they've sculpted the front fascia and how it intersects and connects with the actual headlight housing with that boomerang style daytime running lamp. Working our way down, very important to have your LED fog lamps. Notice how there's no gloss black. You just have your body color and flat black. Now, to show the cred, the off-road cred, one thing that is always required are recovery tow hooks. And you'll notice that on the AT4, you're going to get those bright red signature design recovery tow hooks so that you can help pull the Honda Pilots, the Hyundai Palisade, the XRT, and the off-road version of the Telluride out of the mud very easily with this. Now, as we come across the front grille, the shape of it is all GMC, but the AT4 gets a specific grille. Love this almost like aluminum stainless steel appearance. Forward-facing camera, very important on an off-roader. And GM does a great job with their badging. That AT4 badge just looks really killer. And of course, 4 means that when you go AT4, you're getting all-wheel drive. Now, the great news about the AT4 compared to the Denali that we did, which also had all-wheel drive, the all-wheel drive on this vehicle is specific to the AT4 trim. What it's going to utilize is a twin clutch system out back to help deliver the power to the ground very effectively. Now, loving the grille, a little bit of gloss black across the top hood. Working our way down, we do have gloss black on the lower bumper area, but the good news is full functionality, and the even better news is that's not plastic. You have metal skid plates underneath this vehicle to protect the inner bits. Now, of course, you're going to get more ground clearance. You're looking at about 8 inches of ground clearance, and this vehicle does have an actual higher lift to it compared to your standard Acadia. But let me know what you think about the front of it. I like the way they brought boldness without going too over the top, but you can still tell that it's a GMC. And I actually like the look of this better than the Pilot. That's just my personal taste. Now, as we rise up, you have a nice high hood, just like you would find on the Yukon, with those bold indentations. Gives it a lot of character. And then as we come around the bend, what do we have going on wheel and tire setup? So what you're going to notice is that when you go with the AT4, you're going to get an 18-inch wheel. The flat black, the machined aluminum, very, very good looking wheel. It actually looks like an off-road style wheel, like what you would expect to see. You'll also notice that we have the Goodyear Wrangler Territory all-terrain tires. These are the real deal with shielding in the sidewall. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of the tire? You're looking at 265 on the width and a nice, beefy 65 series sidewall. I'm gonna have Steven kind of zoom in and show you the suspension. So you'll see the change up on the springs and the shock absorber, because with this Acadia AT4, you almost have an 1.5 inches higher stance to the vehicle. So it's up about 1.3 inches. So almost 1.5 inches. And the way that they did that is with the suspension change, but also with the thicker sidewall of tire. Now, specific to the AT4, besides the grille, besides the wheels, besides the off-road tires, that extra height is you're gonna have these flat black fender flares. They actually extend off the vehicle a little bit more than what you would find on the other two trims, Elevation and Denali of the Acadia. And then you'll notice how you have your signature GMC LED lighting in the side. Very, very nice touch. Now, as we rise up, look at the way they did the lighting with the GMC badge in there. Love the way they did all that nice design work. Coming down the side of the vehicle, you are gonna get gloss black on your mirror caps, but you'll also notice you're gonna get 360-degree cameras. So I'm happy to see that they have the forward-facing camera, the 360-degree camera. You have your AT4 badge, nicely placed. It's not too high on the door. And then from the side of the vehicle, you'll notice the extra length, the extra height of the Acadia compared to the previous generation. Color matched on the door handles, a little bit of flat black along the bottom, and I'm glad that they did that because that'll take a better beating. If you look at the Denali one that we did, it's gloss black. Up top, you're gonna have your raised roof rails, all gloss black. Of course, you can get your crossbars, put your kayak up there, put your canoe, your mountain bike, whatever you got. All of the trim has been blacked out. So instead of having shiny bright metalwork, like on the Denali trim or the Elevation trim, you're getting the gloss black. You'll notice that fender flare, how it extends out nicely. And look at the grip of these tires. It actually pulls twigs right out of the ground. So we'll get that out of there. Out back, we have that twin clutch system. Remember, front wheel drive base, but it sends power to the rear wheels, specific to the AT4. One of the other big changes of the exterior is I really love the way they did the rear here with the rear pillar going into the liftback with your LED lighting. On the AT4, it says GMC here. If you look at the Denali trim that we did, it says Denali. But of course, we have the signature AT4 badge in the lower corner, our Acadia all-wheel drive badge, and then as we work our way down to ground level, still digging how they just, all the trims get quad tip exhausts, nice stainless steel tip, functional, not like the Honda Pilot where there's nothing shown or fake or anything like that. You take the cover off, you could tow up to 5,000 pounds with this vehicle, but why don't we go ahead, let's take the hood off of this vehicle by raising it and show you the power plant on this Acadia AT4. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have your hood struts. Underneath the hood, if you look at the Honda Pilot compared to this vehicle, the Pilot still maintains a naturally aspirated 3.5 liter V6, puts out about 290 horsepower. This vehicle, they got rid of the V6 and it now has a 4-cylinder turbo. But the great news is 2.5 liters of turbocharged inline 4, you're getting more horsepower, you're getting more torque. 328 horsepower, 326 pound-feet of torque. It's got an 8-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60 in about 6.5 seconds, top speed 130 miles per hour, MPGs 19 in the city, 24 on the highway, and the vehicle weighs around 4,800 pounds. So it's one of those things that, yes, you're losing the V6, but having more power and more torque, and remember, towing has been bumped up to 5,000 pounds. Seems like they made some big improvements. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire this up and see it roll. All right, guys, we are inside this 2024 GMC Acadia AT4. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I've been looking for something to do some off-roading. I know this isn't a rock crawler. I don't want to go crawl around on rocks. I watch Instagram and see people total their Jeeps and Broncos and everything else with these Insta stories that they show and Instagram reels. I know that I just want to have something to go off the beaten path. But I'm curious, how much is it? Very good curiosity. Starting MSRP is right around $51,395. This one has an MSRP right around $54,000. Let's see how it stacks up to the mighty Honda Pilot Trailsport. To the door panels, I love the unique style. So you're gonna have soft touch material. I'm digging that grooved black trim. It's like a silver gray trim. Some aluminum style, and then the red and orange contrast stitching really pops nicely. No gloss black. Door pocket is big enough easily for 3 South Carolina pork chops and a bottle of Topo Chico to wash it down. We got the Bose sound system. That's a 19 speaker Bose sound system. And then going from the door panel to the dash, that soft touch, the stitching. Really like the way they differentiated this from the Denali. You do have ambient lighting, which is nice. And this trim here is just really modern and classy. Slide on in. You have your all new 15-inch portrait style infotainment system screen. Normally I'm not a big fan of this, but I like the location. Looks really great. Of course, you're gonna have your different drive modes. And the ones that are important are, of course, off-road, but even more important is terrain. That is specific to this vehicle, to the AT4 trim. Of course, you could go in to all your different camera angles, which are really nice, great resolution, and then you're gonna have all the other icons that you're familiar with, and Google built in, of course. So when I go to my maps, there's my Google Maps. Working our way down, real volume knob. Most of your controls have physical knobs or toggle switches, but there are some screen stuff like your 3 stages of heated seats and 3 stages of ventilated seats. But other than that, nice to have a combination. Wireless charging. My only zonk is I wish there was a cover here that kind of made everything blended nicely. You do have a USB-C, USB-A, and a place where you could put 4 packages of now and laters. Down below, you got enough room for a Nerf football, volleyball, a couple softballs so that you don't have to have your balls in your hands all the time. You can put your balls down there. 2 cup holders with more of that nice trim. Soft touch with the stitching. Open it up. Here's our key fob, GMC key fob as before. Remote start, which is really nice. I like this little container here because this is where you're going to want to keep the Skittles. And what's nice is with the panoramic sunroof, you can taste the rainbow and see the rainbow. And then you got enough room in there, I would say, for a small bag of cash. So if you have a bag of cash and you don't know where to put it, you're putting it under your mattress, under your pillow, you can keep it inside your GMC Acadia. Seats. Love the AT4 embroidery, the nice materials. Really did a great job with the blending of materials. You do have electric assist for the passenger, electric assist for the driver, and then I told you we have a panoramic sunroof. Really nice one-touch operation. Look, Mom, no hands. And we have a digital rear view mirror. So nice that they have all of that great tech. But why don't you come over here to the business side? I want to show you behind the wheel in this Acadia AT4. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You got that nice, tasteful AT4 badge. Love the way, like I said, they do their badges. And then, of course, you have your full power seat controls, especially with the lower lumbar. That's going to keep you out of the chiropractic office. I'm 6 feet tall. The amount of room in here, you're really swimming in space. But what I like about it is that it's still a mid-size crossover SUV. Great thickness on the steering wheel with the leather, the contrast stitching, that GMC badge. This is to mimic the grille shape. If you ever wondered why do they have this on the horn button. Flat black on all the switchgear. I want to show you one button in particular. You see this L? It doesn't stand for love. You don't push this and then somebody falls in love with you. What you're able to do is you push this and then you can adjust how many gears your transmission is utilizing. So if you're off-roading or you're in a hilly area and you don't want to go all the way to 8th gear and then it keeps going up and down, you could change it to a 6-speed automatic transmission, all by the press of that button. That's some pretty cool technology. You do have paddles on the back of the wheel to go up and down that 8-speed automatic. And you'll notice on the steering wheel, this one is optioned with Super Cruise. So you could get Super Cruise on your AT4. Love that 11-inch digital gauge cluster with all of the great readouts. Easy to scroll through. And you even get a head-up display in the AT4 trim. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the mid row and the third row and see how your passengers are gonna enjoy off-roading in this AT4. All right, guys, backseat time, and here's where you're gonna really be able to maximize the amount of space that you have here because of the little extra size of this Acadia AT4. I'm not even close to the headliner, and we have that panoramic sunroof. Pockets on the back. This is where you could put a small pound puppy or two, keep those back there. And then I love the way they have the leather style material all the way around the back because this will be easier to keep clean, especially if your kids have been eating fudge or picking their nose and wiping it on the seat. Easier to keep clean. You do have your little command center with your cup holders. We have our digital readout just like we do up front for our AC controls. 3 stages of heated seats. And there's a place down here where you could easily put, I would say, half a bag of Jolly Ranchers back there, and home power source, 2 USB-Cs. I'm sitting here, I feel great with the amount of room. The zonk, like I pointed out before, is just this armrest is too narrow. But other than that, seats are comfortable, they slide and they recline. And then I'm not gonna get in the third row, but I'm gonna show you the third row. Very easy to jump in, lots of room, and the seats are the same material. If you wanna see what I look like back there, watch the Denali review, which is at the end of this one, and we have USB-Cs. So, but let's get into the cargo area because I wanna go off-roading in this Acadia AT4. All right, guys, cargo area time. You're gonna hit that electric assist, rises up. I'm gonna do this one just a little bit quicker than what we did on the Denali. So with the third row up, you're looking at 23 cubic feet of space, which is actually on the high side near that class leading. Now, you'll notice there isn't any 12 volts back here. So that is a negative, that is a zonk, as we say in Rady's Rides speak. And then to fold the seats down on the Denali, you do have power folding seats, but I kind of like the manual ones even more because they're real simple. You just pull and push. That's gonna give you over 50 cubic feet of space. And then of course you fold down the mid row and that's gonna give you over 90 cubic feet of space. So nice to have all that room, but why don't we go ahead? If you're ready, I'm ready. This Acadia is way too clean. Let's go do some off-roading on throttle and get her dirty. All right, guys, we're inside this 2024 GMC Acadia AT4, and just really cool to be able to show off Super Cruise in the off-road spec of the Acadia. I have it activated, very easy system to use, and this is something that in the Honda Pilot, they don't have any type of autonomous driving features whatsoever, besides like adaptive cruise control, but nothing that's hands-off driving. What's nice is that with Super Cruise doing its thing, I'm able to kind of discuss a little bit more clearly what is going on here. So that 15-inch screen, well within reach, Love the fact that you're also getting a head-up display. A lot of times on off-road specs, brands will get rid of the HUD. This one has it all. And of course, you have the Bose sound system and just a very spacious, well laid out interior. Now, just like we talked about in the Denali, the seats are comfy, and having heated and ventilated seats, that's another thing that usually brands cut out the ventilated seats and just give you heated seats. So nice to see that. I'm not noticing any major change in road noise, which is surprising because remember, we do have those off-road spec tires, but they did a great job with making sure that it wasn't too aggressive of a tread pattern to where you get a lot of off-road noise. All right, guys, we found some twisty bit action here. I'm gonna go ahead and put the vehicle into sport mode, and then we're gonna do some on throttle and show how the AT4 handles. Are you ready? On throttle, here we go. So as you can see, with the all-wheel drive and even with the off-road spec tires, you're still getting a good amount of grip. Obviously, there's gonna be some body roll, but it's not as bad as what you think. And I think that's the great thing, is how they tune the suspension very specific for the elevation, the AT4, and of course, with the Denali as well. So it gives you a unique ride experience. And remember, when it comes to suspension, a lot of people think that suspension holds the vehicle up. No, it does not. Suspension pushes the wheels and tires down. All right, guys, we're at a little bit of an off-road area that they have set up, and we're gonna be doing a little bit of everything. I'm gonna go ahead and change the mode here. We're gonna go into terrain mode. Obviously, with this being the AT4, that is one of those specific modes. And if you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle, here we go. With the all-wheel drive. And it's a twin clutch all-wheel drive system. Now, what's fascinating is that in terrain mode, you are speed limited to 50 miles an hour. Just something to point out. But what that's really gonna do is allow the vehicle to actually move a little bit, because the whole point of terrain mode, and then I'll go ahead and switch it into off-road mode. The whole point of those modes is to allow the vehicle to move a little bit so that you don't get stuck in loose gravel or dirt or anything like that. I'm gonna go ahead and bring up, let's see if we can bring up our forward-facing. So nice to have the forward-facing camera out the front. Really allows you to be able to see what's going on as we're going down this off-road area. And the thing that I like is that with that twin clutch system, with the all-wheel drive, it really allows the power to get to all four wheels very, very effectively. I'm gonna slow down here. Nobody's behind us. I'm gonna slow down and we're gonna go on throttle on the gravel. So if you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle, here we go. So no slip, all grip. You can feel the vehicle moving around a little bit more. And I like that because that's what you want so that you don't get stuck in the mud, in the dirt. But this really is what a lot of owners are gonna do with their Acadia AT4. Nobody is gonna take it and rock crawl, but to get to an area where obviously there's no paved road, this is where it really comes into handy. And like I said, the fact that you have real deal off-road spec tires allows you to feel safe that you're not gonna get a puncture. Nobody wants to get a puncture when it comes to this off-roading area. As you can see, a little busy here. We're gonna navigate through it. Another thing you'll notice too is the gearing, right? Is that how the vehicle is geared. And when I accelerated from a dead stop, you're not going to get that instantaneous like in sport mode. They do that on purpose because they don't want you to just spin. They want you to grip, grab, and go. Like I was telling you before, you could take your button, press L, and basically that allows you to adjust what that transmission is doing, and that's another nice feature. But the fact that the cameras stay up and are fully showing me what's going on in front of me and around me allows me to feel confident. And that's what GMC wants the driver to feel, is to feel that confidence. But as you can see, we're on this loose gravel, and the vehicle wants to play. I like that. The back end comes out a little bit. The vehicle wants to play, and that's important to keep your momentum going so that you don't get stuck in that loose sand. But having good visibility allows me to see when trees are down, where all the brush is. I'm gonna come to a stop again. Let's do, so we did on throttle in the gravel. Let's do on throttle in this loose sand. You ready? On throttle, here we go. So as you can see, we just march right through it. Not getting a ton of vibration into the cabin, which is good. That shows the work that they did with the suspension tuning. And then we have skid plates, so I don't have to worry about ripping the oil pan off. That shows the real deal intentions of this vehicle. Another thing that I think you're gonna like is that with this being a midsize, it's a little easier to navigate tighter spaces than if you were driving a Yukon, and a Yukon being a full size. All right, guys, back on some gravel, on throttle, here we go. Nice smooth shifts from the 8-speed automatic, but really just nicely balanced, smooth, and the fact that you have the protection, that's the key here. That's the big takeaway, is you have the protection of not getting the puncture, not getting the damage to the belly of this vehicle. Got a little bit of a chicane here. Oh, they don't want us to go in the sippy hole. But look at that, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. It really shows the differences between, I wouldn't want to do this in the Denali with the 22-inch wheels. For sure, they really did make a unique setup, even more so for 2024 with this AT4. Let's see what we got going on here. On the brakes, here we go. Really nice. Swinging out the back, look at that. See, you can have some fun in this Acadia AT4. All right, guys, now we have it in terrain mode, and this is going to allow us to really be able to show the suspension travel and everything else with this obstacle that we have. I have it on the forward-facing camera right here so that we can see what's going on. But look at the way that the vehicle can actually take the surface and just allow us to navigate. I mean, look at that. Allow us to navigate so smoothly through this. Look at that. You can actually feel the vehicle working as it's going through the different parts of this system. So smooth. And we have Steven shooting exterior footage. You can actually see Steven right there. Steven shooting the exterior footage to really show what the vehicle is doing as we're moving up, down, and all around. And there's one last dip here. Shows that approach and departure angle has been tweaked on this new Acadia AT4. All right, guys, one last on throttle. We're back in off-road mode, and if you're ready, I'm ready. Actually, let me bring up the map here so that I know where the heck I'm going, just to make sure. All right, continue. Are you ready? I'm ready. On throttle, here we go. So you can see the nice playful movement that I'm getting from the vehicle, but the good news is I know exactly where the front and the back of the vehicle is at any given moment. Here we go. There we go. Get the back end out a little bit. And just, you know, like I said, having the real deal skid plates, having the extra lift, and the off-road tires just allow me to feel a little bit more confident, that's for sure. Get the back out a little bit. But it's been really freaking fantastic to take you along the ride on this Acadia AT4, show you the difference between the Denali. If you have not seen that review, watch it at the end of this one, but we need to get back to where this all started and wrap this one up. So I will see you in a split second. All right, guys, been another great day in so many ways with this 2024 GMC Acadia AT4. Definitely want to thank everybody at GMC for getting us access to this vehicle and doing a little bit of light off-roading and showing that amazing all-wheel drive system. But let me know what you think. Are you going with this Acadia, or are you going to stick with the Honda Pilot? Let me know which way you're going to spend your money. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raise Rides family. God thanks Stephen Flood. We had to go get him some bug spray. He's been bitten up all over his body, but yet he still stands strong and firm. Strong like bull. So thank you, Stephen, for all that you do and sacrificing your body for Raise Rides. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.